Okay. There we go. There I go. There I go. There I go. Okay. It's been a minute. So that is a dookie air quality. Hold on. Oh. Also, I don't know about that chat thing you see in that OBS. I don't know how to get it to like a separate thing. Also, I don't know about that chat thing you see in that OBS. I don't know how to get it to like a separate thing. Yeah, it's 240p, isn't it? I can definitely hear myself. I have to fucking read chat through my phone and not. Because, I don't know. I don't know. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. But, streams rise fine, the quality, so it should be okay. It's just for this Unite tier list, which I want to get out of the way. Because it's going to probably take a minute. Speaking of. Okay. Pokemon Unite Panic Parade tier list. It's done. The testing, at least, has been done. So, I don't need to do any more testing for Pokemon Unite Panic Parade. It took me well over 40 plus hours of doing the same shit over and over and over and over again. Wasn't enjoyable, but I got through it. So, some criteria to begin with for this tier list is we're going to be judging this on extreme difficulty only, as that is the hardest difficulty, even though it's quite easy to be honest, but whatever. And the tiers are as follows: we got S tier, which are Pokemon that can reliably deal over 1 million damage and can hard carry really well if your teammates are not good, which tended to be the case for me, but whatever. A plus, also 3 A tiers. Every Pokemon in the A tier is good, which is a lot of them. Delibird S plus tier, yeah, but actually. But the A, but because so many Pokemon are really good for Panic Parade, I wanted to just I had to make 3 separate A tiers, which is not ideal. It just kind of shows you that this tier list was a complete and utter waste of time. But I did it anyway, because I hate everything. So A plus is just a really good Pokemon, like Pokemon that can reliably deal a lot of damage and can reliably hard carry. But they just have a couple of little things about them that can't put them into S tier. A tier, same reason as A plus, but they have more faults about them. A minus, just Pokemon that can get the job done, but have a couple of issues with them. So these are still good Pokemon, but you just can't, don't expect them to deal well over 1 million damage or get close to 1 million damage. B tier are Pokemon that are good, but don't expect them to be the best in that tier. Like, these are Pokemon that often or not are going to be outclassed by different Pokemon that fulfill their role better, or just have things in their kit that aren't suited for Panic Parade. And C tier are going to be Pokemon that you should not choose. Thankfully, there's not many Pokemon that I would put into C tier, but if you see these Pokemon on your team, then prepare for the worst. I don't know what order to do this in. I don't know if I should just go in alphabetical order, work bottom from the top or top to bottom. I don't know. What do you say, chat? I'm tempted. Alphabetical order is basic, but we'll see. Let's ruin this now. Start top left. Okay, so alphabetical. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Alphabetical will be fine. So Absol. Absol is he's fighting between A minus or B. Because he was a Pokemon that felt wholly unspectacular. Whenever I played him, he was good, as are most Pokemon, but nothing about him really excelled in my eyes. I'm going to put him B tier. The reason I'm going to put him in B tier is because I don't think his kit is really all that well suited for Panic Parade, especially with his best combo, which is Pursuit Sucker Punch. I actually forgot there for a second. Because I need kind of baiting the wild Pokemon to hit you, which is not hard to do, but it kind of kills his pace a little bit. To be fair, I did not test every Pokemon's moveset. Because, fuck that. No. That would be actual hell. But Absol's, he felt fine. He didn't excel. He felt fine. His Unite move is pretty good for boss wiping. I'll say that much. But as a whole, he was just fine. He was just a fine Pokemon. Aegislash. Aegislash was really good. Aegislash is actually the Pokemon I got the fastest time with. But that was more to the fact that we actually had a competent team. Because Aegislash's damage was not... Compared to other all-rounders, it was not as good. Still really good damage. And to be fair, the numbers were less so because of the competent teammates. I'll put him in A tier. He's just a Pokemon that works really well in fighting wild Pokemon as is. Aegislash. Because it's easy to get the stacks from Iron Head or Wide Guard, in which you can go into Sacred Sword or Shadow Claw, and then just basic attack like Mental. So Aegislash's damage is really good, especially if you if your AO's pointer, the AO's shooter rather, is fully maxed, which it was for my testing. So Aegislash was really good. His Unite move's not the best. His damage is rather lackluster, which is the main reason why I'm putting in A tier. And now to some Pokemon, like some of the wild Pokemon, like the Delphox or the Slowbro, just any Pokemon that could really hit you with CC will hurt. I experienced that quite a bit with Aegislash just getting CC'd. Azu. Azu's going to an A+. Azu's really good for Panic Parade. Surprisingly, actually, to be fair, because Azumarill's passive is all about 1v1s, which in the later rounds you're not going to be getting too much of. You're not going to be getting the full benefit of Azumarill getting the 1v1s with huge power. But her damage is still really strong. Aquatail has really good range in AoE that really does help Azu. Water Pulse for that little boost of movement speed if Elaine is in trouble or you need to get to the boss quickly. Even as a get out of jail free card. Doesn't help though. For the most part, auto attackers in Panic Raid are really strong. Because their basic attacks don't have a damage cap, from my experience. I don't know if this is completely true or not, but auto attacks did deal more damage than abilities, which is why ADCs are so good in Panic Raid. Because, for one, they're really fast, and two, their damage is more. I don't know why. Maybe it might be just from the items. But because Azu's Aquatail is a basic attack chain, her damage is really good. And her Unite moves on a really short cooldown does really good damage. So yeah, Azumarill is a really good Pokemon. I saw plenty of Azus because of Mr. Robo Crusher playing quite a bit of Azu, so that helped me with some of my testing before I even played her myself. And I was just able to tell, like, oh yeah, this is a strong Pokemon. Then I played and like, oh yeah, this is a strong Pokemon. Blastoise, the first defender. Blastoise was... I put Blastoise A-. Because of Blastoise being a defender, his damage output... I say that though, because I say that, but Blastoise's damage was really good for a defender, actually. Granted, I do tend to build Blastoise more of an attacker than I do a defender because of his natural defenses. I will say that, though. I did Blastoise twice. Like, both moves, Surf, Hydro Pump, and Rapid Spin, Water Spout. It's like, yeah, so I got to play a lot of Blastoise. He was really strong. As are most Pokemon in his godforsaken tier list. I guess because he takes a little while to get online. I've got a bird building. It's gone. It came back. Because of Blastoise evolving at level 9, 8 or 9, I actually can't remember. I mained the fucker. His early game did struggle a bit, which does tend to be where you struggle the most. Not really, actually. Just depends on your teammate. If you would struggle more on the early moving up. But he wouldn't be able to solo a lane. Like, he does need someone to help him. Definitely. And maybe A-. You could make a case for him being A tier, but I don't know. Blissey, B. Blissey was an easy choice. Blissey's weird. Isn't the fact that as a supporter, you kind of don't want her as a supporter, if that makes sense. Well, you wouldn't preference that. You really wouldn't want her as a healer. You'd rather have Blissey on your team for helping hand. The reason why I say that is because if your AO shooter is maxed, you won't need healing because you're tanky as hell. And if you do get low, you heal up instantly from attacking wild Pokemon, which is the name of the game. Which kind of invalidates Blissey's role entirely. And the reason why I'm not putting her in C tier is because her damage output is decent for a supporter. Like, Egg Bomb is good CC, knocks him up. It deals good damage. Her basic attacks deal really good damage because of her scaling for being a supporter. That's the only reason why she's not in C, though. She does have a small damage niche. And that's it. That's the only reason why Blissey is in B tier. Buzzwole. A plus. Buzzwole was surprisingly strong. Really surprised me from Buzzwole being as strong as he is. Because I was anticipating Buzzwole to be, like, A minus. But no. Because of Buzzwole's Beast Boost passive, his auto attacks are meaty as hell. And his moves and Smackdown superpower, which is what I went with Buzzwole, provides a lot of utility, surprisingly enough, because of all the knockups. It also is funny to knock a Pokemon out of someone else's combo, which I did multiple times with Buzzwole. But it's A-okay because Buzzwole could just punch and then they're dead. And that was amusing to me. And that's the most important thing. If you're having fun, and I had fun playing Buzzwole, it's probably the most fun I had in Panic Parade playing Buzzwole because he was just a goofy ass Pokemon. Smackdown, like fucking, he's using Smackdown and Super Power Buzzwole, it's just fun as hell. But he's also just really strong. He is a strong Pokemon. Chandelure? Chandelure's tricky. Chandelure is tricky. I'm tempted to put him at A minus. He's an attacker that doesn't really play like an attacker. Oh, Chandelure's so weird. He's such a bizarre Pokemon. I genuinely don't know where to put Chandelure. His damage wasn't on par with other attackers. I'll say that. But that's not his role. Chandelure into his deadly trap. That is kind of what he's about, though. Setting up traps with Poltergeist or Imprison. I went Poltergeist Overheat when I played Chandelure. Overheat does deal a lot of damage. I will say that. But it also cripples Chandelure, because after you use it, you can't use basic attacks. Which is going to be how you're dealing most damage with most Pokemon through basic attacks. Poltergeist is good for utility on certain rounds because of the slowdown, especially on wave 10 with the Electrodes coming down lane. Chandelure using Poltergeist when they're coming down lane is really helpful. It gives you so much more time. I have to put him in A minus. His Unite move also isn't the best because the invisibility that you get from using Chandelure's Unite is useless on a lot of Pokemon because they can't see anyway. It's not a human playing them. And the beam at the end doesn't last long enough to deal significant damage. So you're really only using it for the shield. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put Chandelure in A minus. He's a weird one. Certainly a strange Pokemon. He's fun. He's just strange. Charizard can also go in A minus. Charizard was an interesting case. When I was playing him, I felt like I was dealing no damage with him. I literally felt like I was dealing negative damage, and that's literally all entirely for basic attacks. No, not even, because even when I felt my abilities were dealing no damage. But then at the end of the game, I did over 800k. I'm thinking, oh, I didn't feel that. So he's definitely a damage over time Pokeball, which is good for bosses. I'll give him that. But Charizard fight just feels so bizarre. He's kind of similar to Blastoise, where he takes a while to get online. Like, he's not getting online until after Hoopa. So in those early stages, he's gonna struggle. His Unite move is good. Gives you well, you cannot pick up. Well, you can pick up the wild Pokemon that are playable Pokemon in general, like Delphox, Slowbro, Mew, Garchomp, etc. You can pick those up, but you can't pick up bosses with it. Or it doesn't give them the slow and doesn't give them the freeze effect when you do pick them up, like they do with other Unites that perform CC. Charizard was just a weird Pokemon. He feels good, but he felt weird. Now that I'm thinking, I feel like we should put him into A tier because his damage was really good. He's a very mobile character. I'm not entirely sure, but I guess A. I'll move him. I probably will move him because he's bizarre. Cinderace, our first S tier. Cinderace. Cinderace, along with other ADCs, are going to be an S tier because they're going to be the highest source of damage that you can possibly get in Panic Parade because of their role as an ADC. Constant basic attacks, constant damage. Cinderace is a really mobile character, which is very nice to have. Silver, why are you talking about Sylveon for? I'll get to Sylveon eventually. Cinderace felt really strong. Like, a competent Cinderace can definitely hard carry. Can he hard carry as well as other ADCs? I'm not sure. But he could definitely hard carry. His Unite move is also really good. I said all attack. No, I said all ADCs in S tier. ADCs, attack damage carries, are going to be in S tier. Then say all attackers, because Chandeler's an attacker, and he's an A minus. ADC. Clefable. Surprisingly, Clefable's A plus. I couldn't tell you. Was I expecting Clefable to be one of the best to be an A plus? No, I would not. No, I would not have said Clefable would have been A plus. But I played her. And she was really fucking strong. Again, it's not really for the healing. It's the damage. Clefable did a lot of damage, surprisingly, because that's entirely all from gravity. Because, like Azumarill, gravity boosts your auto attacks. Clefable has really high scaling on her auto attacks because of her being a supporter. So Clefable did a lot of damage and all while being really tanky and also providing the healing, which I know I just said isn't important for Panic Parade, but Moonlight is better for healing than Soft Boil because of its AoE effect. If you're fighting a boss, Moonlight is going to be more important than Soft Boil. Because you just walk in and just run around and heal Pokemon all the time. Her Unite move is also quite good. The randomness isn't the best, but they all deal damage. It's just what moves you get. You have to use accordingly, obviously. Comfey, C. Comfey is going to be in C tier. Comfey is more of a liability than she is an ally. Because Comfey's entire thing is healing, which isn't important for Panic Parade. And she's going to be attached to a single... For the most part, a Comfey is going to be attached to one single Pokemon. That one single Pokemon is going to be your highest damage dealer. Like your Mewtwo's, your Decidueyes, your Urshiba's, your Zacians, your whatever. So if you have a conflict on your team, you're basically going into you're basically playing a 4-man team because Comfy isn't going to be doing damage, which is what Blissey and Clefable can at least do: deal damage and be tanky. Comfy cannot be tanky, no matter what. And Comfy's Unite move is kind of overshadowed completely by Recovery Bomb. While Recovery Bomb is a random drop from Delibirds, Recovery Bomb can at least heal Tinkaton. Not by much, but that little amount can make the difference, believe it or not. Comfy also just becomes a huge liability when it comes to Zapdos and Regigigas, because when they use Shockwave, Comfy can still get Shockwaved even if it's attached to a Pokemon. So, whatever Pokemon you're attached to, you have to detach to for the Shockwave, otherwise you're just going to kill the Pokemon you're attached to, which you wouldn't know unless it's too late if you're using Comfy for the first time. So yeah, Comfy is quite useless, to say the least. Cramorant. Cramorant. Where do I put you, my beautiful baby boy? Oh, wow. He's between A plus and A. I'll put him in A for now, because I feel like I should have tested more with Cramorant. Cramorant is kinda attack damage carrying ADC? Not really, though. His basic attacks are gonna be the main source of your damage, because of his passive. And just the way his moves work in synergy with his passive by using Dive. By the way, Dive is such a good move on Cramorant for Panic Parade, because you're boosting your auto attacks, which is going to be your main source of damage. It's a mobility move, and you can have reserves of it, which basically gives you double the escape option. Even Air Slash. Air Slash is also a really good move because it also has the added healing benefit. So you're healing for a lot more using with Cramorant because of Air Slash's bonus healing when you hit with all the Air Slashes. His Unite move is also so helpful for bosses because of its massive range. You can put yourself out of danger while also dealing a lot of damage. Seeing on this, actually, I might put him in A plus. I've convinced myself to put Cramorant into A plus. Congratulations, me. It's not even me. I try not to be biased, but I love Cramorant because I do love Cramorant. But he was really strong. I really enjoyed playing Cramorant to Panic Parade. Crustle. Oh boy, where do I put Crustle? Crustle was such a fucking surprise. I've never been more surprised with a Pokemon than I have been with Crustle. I was expecting Crustle to be god awful, but he was so good in Panic Parade. He really felt like an all-rounder and not a defender. His damage output was so surprising. Because before I tested with Crustle, I had one other person in all the matches, the 100 plus matches I did playing. I saw one other person go Crustle, and they did shocking. So I had the lowest expectations set for Crustle. And then, because he went Rock Tomb Stealth Rock Switch. Why? But I went Shell Smash X Scissor. And then I did 800k damage with him. And then I thought, oh, Crustal's good. Those are words I never thought I would utter when referring to Crustal. Crustal was really good in Panic Parade. Super mobile, super tanky, really good damage, good utility too from X-Scissor because of the knockback it has. He's really close to being into A+. Super fucking close to being into A+. I might put him into A+. I don't want to put him into A+. He might go a bit further. You could definitely make a case for Crustal being an A+ Pokemon in Panic Parade. Which is so fucking shocking to me. Decidueye. Best Pokemon in Panic Parade. Say right now, Decidueye is the best Pokemon you could play in Panic Parade. Without question, the Pokemon I saw the most used for Panic Parade. For good reason. For an incredibly good reason, he was. Razor Leaf deals so much damage. So much fucking damage. Is insane. Because of Razor Leaf's tracking to hit every Pokemon in your basic attack range, it absolutely melts waves. And also melts bosses extremely quickly. Shadow Sneak also gives him some decent mobility because of the added movement speed you've got. Also does help with Abras and Sableye during those rounds. They're very annoying. Decidueye is, without doubt, the best Pokemon for Panic Parade. Just don't play Spirit Shackle. I have seen a couple of people go Spirit Shackle Decidueye for Panic Parade. Didn't even break 100k damage. So don't go Spirit Shackle Decidueye for Panic Parade, for the love of God. This isn't regular Unite. It's Panic Parade. Different game mode. Delphox. Delphox I put into A. Delphox was good. She wasn't shockingly amazing. She deals good damage. She's relatively safe. Fire Spin has some really good CC. Her cooldowns are insanely short. Like literally, her Unite move comes up every 20 seconds. It's literally insane. Yeah, Delphox is just an all-around good Pokemon. I never saw people play Delphox though. I've done myself. Never saw any of her Delphoxes. I don't remember seeing any of her Delphoxes. Dodrio. Dodrio I put into B tier. Kind of similar to Absol in the sense that he was good, but I just feel like his kit isn't suited for Panic Parade. His whole gimmick is build up that sprint gauge, which you can do in Panic Parade, but you do lose out in damage in doing so. So Dodrio isn't going to be breaking highest damage in the team. He wasn't bad though. He's tricky. He's definitely a Pokemon that was not designed to be used in Panic Parade. It also plays the Boss Rush too. Definitely a Pokemon not to be used in Boss Rush. He's better than Panic Parade though because he actually has space to run around in. Yeah, so Dodrio I put him to B. Dragapult. Ooh, Dragapult's interesting. I didn't see many people go Dragapult at all. But he felt good. But he felt really good when I played him. He's an ADC, so automatically his damage is going to be absurd to begin with. He also has really good mobility with Dragon Dance, and that gives him a lot of safety because of it. Well, the top of the screen is actually really bugging me. That stupid ad at the top, bugging the shit out of me. His Unite move isn't the best. At least I didn't feel like it wasn't the best. It is good for what it is. It's a spammable Unite move, though. I will definitely say that. You can kind of use it whenever. I only really using my Unite moves on other Pokemon during the bosses because of their high HP. Because it's like burn through it, whatever you have it back by the next boss anyway. Dragapult's Unite you can just spam whenever the fuck you want. You have it online, you spam it because it's going to be so helpful. I just never saw people play Dragapult. I could really only use my experience with him to gauge him, and I feel like he was an S tier. He felt really good. Speaking of S tiers, Dragonite. One of the few non-ADCs to go into S tier. Because Outrage is bonkers strong. And you can basically keep it up forever because of the Aeos shooter. If you have max cooldown reductions on the Aeos shooter, and you use Outrage, you can keep that thing alive throughout the entire match. Which leads to utterly insane amount of damage. You also got high mobility with Dragon Dance. You got an ult that can take you straight to the boss if you need to. Or take you straight to Tinkaton if you need help. I'd say his only fault is his early game. When you don't have Outrage. I'd say that's his only downside. But as soon as you get Outrage after Hoopa, you're going to be dealing 1.5 million damage easy. He is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers strong, Dragonite. Such a good Pokemon. Duraludon. I'd put Duraludon in A+. Duraludon felt good, but he was hindered by his lack of mobility and his frailty. He's an ADC, which automatically puts him high up on the tier list. But he just doesn't have the mobility that you'd want from an ADC. That's really propelling, because Decidueye, Cinderace, and Dragapult, they all have some forms of mobility. Duraludon does not, outside of Dragon Tail, which I didn't go Dragon Tail because if I go Dragon Tail, I would tend to go Flash Cannon, which I don't like the idea of going Flash Cannon on Duraludon for Panic Parade, because I just don't like the idea of being rooted in the game mode where you kind of always need to be moving in some way, shape, or form. So I went Dragon Pulse. I went Dragon Pulse Stealth Rocks. Doesn't it help that because of his nerf when Mewtwo came out to his damage output to wild Pokemon, he wasn't dealing as much damage as the other ADCs, I felt. So I'll put him into A+ for now. Eldegoss. Another A plus Pokemon. Are you noticing the trend here? Are you noticing the trend? There's going to be a lot of Pokemon in A tier. Because Eldegoss is a supporter with the damage of an attacker, with the health and survivability of a defender, with added healing. Eldegoss felt really strong. I played Eldegoss a couple of times and I did not complain when I played Eldegoss. Not one bit. Really strong Pokemon. Build him as a damage dealer though. Don't build him as a support, build him as a damage. Also, I'll preference that right now actually, saying that if you're playing a defender or a supporter, don't build them as a defender or a supporter. You build some attacking items on them. It's crazy how that sounds. Because they don't need the defensive items. Like, the only defensive items I really put on them were Body Barrier. And that's it. Everything else was attacking in some way, shape, or form. Yeah, I'll just get that straight. Espeon. Admittedly, a Pokemon I myself didn't play much, but Robo Crusher did play quite a bit. Played definitely more than me. Same with Azu. He played more Azu than I did. But Espeon is really good. Because Espeon basically has no cooldown if you have the AO Shooter maxed. Literally zero cooldown whatsoever. She is a rather enjoyable evolution. She's got really good. Her damage output is really strong. She's got some good stuns with Psyshock. Again, no cooldowns, so you're going to be shitting out a lot of damage really quickly. Gets online really quickly because of her level 4 evolution. Really good Unite move for damage. The only problem is that she has no mobility, but in her case, it's actually. But that's like whatever. She doesn't need the movement speed because she can just delete you. Garchomp, another A+ Pokemon. Another Pokemon I didn't see get picked much, which was surprising because he has all the right tools to be a really strong Pokemon. He's an auto attack focused Pokemon. Already puts him above the rest. But already puts him way up there. He's got good utility for like pushing back Pokemon with. I forget what the moves are called. The Dragon combo. I literally forget. It's Dragon Claw, Dragon something. Literally forget. Well, shows my knowledge. Really good Unite move for damage output. Decent mobility. His main fault is, like Dragonite, he takes a while to get online. Like, he's not getting the full damage output until after Hoopa, but after that, he's going to be shredding. He is very similar to Dragonite, just minus the mobility that Dragonite has, which really propels him up there. Gardevoir, I'll put into A. Pardon me. Gardevoir was very good. Very similar to Espeon in a way, just that Espeon is on the line quicker than Gardevoir. Gardevoir is way more similar to Delphox, I'd say, actually, because of that. But Gardevoir does really good damage, really good Unite move. Doesn't have the best mobility, I'll give it that. Also is rather frail. No, Gardevoir is a good Pokemon. I'm very much to say again, Pokemon I didn't get to see picked much. Gardevoir, which tended to be the case for most Pokemon that weren't ADCs. Gengar, I'll put Gengar into A minus. Gengar was surprising. On paper, Gengar doesn't seem like he'd be a good Pokemon. But his damage output was really good. Which I just wasn't expecting. I didn't go Sludge Bomb Hex because I didn't feel like it'd be good. So instead I went Dream Eater Shadow Ball, and it did a lot of damage. His Unite move is good for mobility. Good damage. Bit frail. Takes a little bit to get online. That's why he's an A minus. He just has a bit too many problems with him. Look, Gengar was just strong. Very surprised by Gengar's performance. Glaceon I'll put into A. Which pains me to say, because I love playing Glaceon. But I'd say her main problem with Glaceon is that she's very single target focused. Which is a problem in waves of Pokemon. If you're getting bombarded with a wave of Pokemon, you're gonna take a minute to pick them off. Yeah, exactly. Funbo outshined. Outshined by Decidueye, who's the best Pokemon for Panic Parade. Because I feel like Decidueye does Glaceon's job infinitely better because of his AoE autos from Razor Leaf. Her damage output is still really good. Don't get me wrong. It's just that her damage output isn't as instantaneous as Decidueye's. Duh. Goodra, another A-tier Pokemon. Goodra, Pokemon I never saw get play. Never saw people play Goodra, which is very bizarre because Goodra is actually very strong and Panic Parade. Really tanky, really high damage, good survive. Unite move is very, very helpful for getting you out of a pickle, and the boosted attacks that you get from her Unite move is very helpful for slowing down waves of Pokemon. Dragon Pulse Power Whip, very strong, with the added healing. Gudras is a strong Pokemon, definitely a Pokemon that I liked playing for Panic Parade. One of the better defenders for Panic Parade. Speaking of, Greedent. In my opinion, the worst defender for Panic Parade. Because, like Dodrio, he's not really used for PvP or PvE damage. He's an annoying shithead. He runs around the map, eats berries, knocks people up with cover, and then fucks off. You can't chase him. He's a shithead Pokemon, which shitheads don't tend to do best in confrontations. Although it didn't help that I am very bad with Greedent. Like, shockingly bad with Greedent. Embarrassingly, even bad with Greedent. So my performance maybe did hamper my experience with playing as Greedent, but every time I did play as Greedent, I was wholeheartedly unimpressed. Greninja is another S tier Pokemon, but I would say with the caveat that he's the weakest out of the three main ADCs. And that's mainly to do with his lack of apparent mobility. His really only form of mobility is through double team because there's a little dash. That's basically it. But other than that, he's such a good Pokemon for Panic Parade. Really high damage, strong Unite move, high mobility. Real only problem, frailty, but you're going to be healing a lot because you're an ADC. So if you get low, you can heal up pretty quickly. You can make a case for Greninja being an A plus. If he were an A plus, he'd be at the very top of A plus. But I put him in S tier. Hoopa I put in an A minus. Hoopa was strong. Definitely had to build Koopa more of an attacker than it did a supporter. But for the most part, I would say Hoopa's damage output was perfectly fine. He's just... You're not using Hoopa for the hoops. Like for hyperspace hole and whatnot. You're not using Hoopa for that. You're using him as an attacker. So in the end of the day, why not just play an attacker? That's just what I felt with Hoopa. Inteleon. Fun fact. Inteleon is the only Pokemon I saw no one else play. Exactly, never saw Inteleon. Literally no one. No one played Inteleon. Which is so surprising. Because he's an S tier Pokemon. Like, I don't know why no one played Inteleon. He's very much so a sleeper pick. I don't know if it's because people just forgot about him, or they just assumed that he'd be bad because, for the most part, people unfamiliar with Inteleon would tend to go Snipe Shot because that's his signature move. But Liquidation Acrobatics did a lot of damage. Like a lot of damage. It also gives him really high mobility, gives him stealth if he needs to get away. His Unite move basically gives him infinite crits as long as the Unite move's online. His early game is super strong because of Water Gun. Water Gun is absolutely insane. One of the best, if not the best, early game move you can ever get. And yet no one played him. Literally no one played him. I was the only person, in my testing, I was the only person to ever go Inteleon. And Robocrushik didn't even see Inteleon because he wasn't there when I tested him. But he was such a good Pokemon. It's so bizarre, but no one played him. Lapras, I'd say, is A tier. Another Pokemon I didn't see much of, which surprised me because I feel like I'd be able to see a lot more Laprases because of her popularity in regular Unite. But I didn't. Kind of the same as Goodra. Really tanky. Good damage, not as good as Goodra or Crystal, but still respectable damage. Really good mobility though. Insane mobility with her Unite move. Because you could just kind of go from one lane to the other with her Unite. And you'd be there very quickly. But she is a Pokemon I didn't see get played much. At all. Leafeon. Yeah, Leafeon's an S tier. Pokemon I didn't play much myself. Yeah, Robocrusher's happy. Robocrusher's very happy with Leafeon being S because he played Leafeon so much. But the performance didn't lie, you had to admit. Like, she was always consistently, like, close to a million, if not over a million, all the time. Really high damage, super quick early game, same with Espeon. Competing, yeah, literally competing with the top tier Pokemon, like, in terms of damage output. Her Unite move, like, is basically up all the time. Like, use it, and then 1 second later, oh, it's back up again. Super super mobile too. She such a good Pokemon. So fucking good. Like, genuinely surprised in how good she was. Lucario, no, you're not an A minus. A. Lucario, I'd put into A tier. Lucario is a very okay Pokemon. He wasn't excelling in anything, but he wasn't suffering in anything. His damage output's good. His mobility is good. His healing is good. His Unite move is good. He's just a good Pokemon. I think he's the most mid Pokemon for Panic Parade. Doesn't excel in anything, but he's not bad in anything. So he's just like perfectly down the middle, average. Machamp, I'm tempted to put Machamp to A+. Because every game I've had with Machamp, I fucked with. I fucked hard with Machamp. Don't take that out of context. Because he has the tools. Lucario, the all-rounder, is mid. He is. He's not. He's kind of mid. But Machamp was just a good Pokemon. Really high damage. Quite mobile. Surprisingly mobile. Really strong Unite move. Really strong early game. I guess this... He can go into A+. I might put him into A+, Machamp. I'm gonna put Machamp into A+. I don't know. He's bizarre, because I also never saw many Machamps. Not many at all. But he's never A+. I was expecting him to be an A. Mamoswine A. My beautiful baby boy Mamoswine. My main Mamoswine. Loved him a lot. I love him. I will always love him. Doesn't matter how bad he is. No matter how good he is. I will always love Mamoswine. And Mamoswine is a good Pokemon. He's really good at defending, believe it or not. Wow, who would have thunk? A defender is good at defending. Wow, crazy. But, shut up. He's got a lot of knockbacks. He can really keep a Pokemon out the foot, away from Tinkaton. You got Ice Fang being CC, you got Earthquake being C, you got Ice Crash being CC, you got High Horsepower being CC, you got his Unite Move being CC. He's a CC machine. So, for what it's worth, he's a good fucking Pokemon. You're just not using him for damage. That's the thing. I wouldn't use Mamoswine for the damage. I would just use him to defend. But I would use him anyway because I love Mamoswine so much. Mew! I honestly don't know where to put Mew. A Pokemon I never saw get picked. I'm terrible with Mew, but I was really surprised by how I'm gonna put her in. I'm gonna put Mew in A at the caveat that my performance was not the best with Mew because I don't know how to play Mew. One of my least played Pokemon. The Pokemon I know to live on how to play. But her damage up was good. Doesn't suffer at any point of the stage. Your level 1 Solar Beam is stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. Then you got Light Screen, making it even stronger. And because of the full cooldown reduction, you basically have infinite Light Screen boosted Solar Beams. Therefore, infinite Light Screen boosted auto attacks. Therefore, big boy damage. Because the only problem is that her Unite move isn't good. Yeah, I actually don't know if it does anything in Panic Parade. But I don't think it matters all too much. Her base kit alone is enough to put her to A tier. Mewtwo! S tier. No question. Mewtwo is S tier. He's fucking stupid. But I'll caveat this. I could not have chosen a worse day to make this tier list. Because Mewtwo just got nerfed. Mewtwo just got nerfed and now he is nowhere near as good as he once was. But before the nerfs, well, before the most recent nerfs, he is crazy strong in Panic Parade. Like, absolutely ridiculously strong in Panic Parade. Can easily solo all 15 waves. Super high mobility with Teleport. Super high damage with basic attacks and Psy Strike. A global Unite that hits every Pokemon on the map. It's kinda dumb. Mewtwo is stupid. Yeah, it's a stupid Pokemon. Goofy ass Pokemon, Mewtwo. But he's an A tier. Not A tier, S tier. He's an S tier. I'd probably put him second best Pokemon in the game. It actually is Nuwa ult, but better Nuwa ult. Because it's on a shorter cooldown. Mr. Mime. I put into B. Mr. Mime has a niche role, and that niche role is making sure the boss doesn't get to Tinkaton. Because of barrier. That's basically about it. That's what I've seen people play Mime with do. And that's what I did when I played Mime. Just put up a barrier and just make sure no one gets through. He's a very good defender in that regard. But he doesn't have the best damage. Yeah, you make walls and that's it. That's basically Mime. You make walls and that's it, and that's a niche use of him. If this were like Mime from like a couple of months ago when he was meta, he'd be up here. But he's gone there. And that's that. That is mine. Alolan Ninetales. Where do I put Alolan Ninetales? A plus, very close to S. That's what I'm gonna say. She actually might be S tier. Oh, I don't know. Because she's kind of a pseudo ADC. Oh, I actually don't know where to put Ninetales. Because every game I went with Ninetales, I did so much damage. It's got really good utility because of the freezing. Super high damage. Unite move that's basically up all the time because of low cooldown. Fuck, I'm gonna put it on nice as S tier. I don't want to put her into S tier because I don't feel like she's on the same level as these guys, but she kind of is, just in less form. Pikachu, A minus. Pikachu is an okay Pokemon that does okay damage. I feel like Pikachu's main niche is his Unite move. Because with insanely low cooldown, you're going to be spamming that Unite move a lot. I don't really have much to say about Pikachu because he's just a Pokemon I don't care for. I don't care for Pikachu. Feel like Pikachu should get a buff? But whatever. It's not my problem. Pikachu is a good Pokemon in Panic Parade, and that's that. Sableye, C tier. I'd say Sableye is the worst Pokemon for Panic Parade. Yeah. Comfy can serve a niche. If you need healing, sure. You can make a claim that yes, Comfy has a use. Sableye just doesn't have a use. No damage to speak of. No defense, no utility. The only thing he can do, the only thing he has going for him, is he's fast. And that's it. I'd say Sableye is the worst Pokemon for Panic Parade. Scizor, I put Scizor into A+. Scizor's kind of similar to Lucario, in a sense. Both are very good at brawling. But every time I played Scizor, I was dealing a lot more damage than I did playing Lucario. Despite, you can make, you can go either or. They're very similar. Both are good early. Both can heal a lot with Bullet Punch and with close combat. Both have good mobility with Extreme Speed on Lucario and double hit on Scizor. Both have really strong Unite moves and can do a lot of damage. They're very similar, but Scizor performed better. Scyther, I will put into A though. Scyther is discount Scizor. It's Scizor, but more mobile, but less tanky. That's basically about it. I actually did more damage with Cypher than I did with Scizor. But I like Scizor more. So by that logic, I should put him into A+, but I will not. I will not. He just felt worse? We didn't feel worse, but Scizor felt cleaner. It's weird. Scyther's weird. I also just didn't see many Scythers. Slowbro is the best defender you can play for Panic Parade because he is an all-rounder disguised as a defender. Really high damage from Slowbro. Really high CC from Slowbro with Surf and Telekinesis and whatnot. His Unite move, really strong. Insanely tanky. You cannot go wrong with choosing Slowbro. The only reason I'm not going to put him into S because his damage isn't on S tier level. But everything else though is he's so good. Loved playing Slowbro. Snorlax, I'll put into A. Snorlax was okay. He's got good. He's very tanky. Let's get this straight. Probably the hardest Pokemon to kill for Panic Parade. He's got good damage with Flail. You've got to respect the Flail Wax. But I never saw people play Snorlax. Because everyone played a fucking attack. Because everyone played a fucking ADC. Or a Zacian Mewtwo. I had to be the man with the people and actually choose different Pokemon, right? Sylveon? I have to put Sylveon to B. I don't want to put Sylveon to B, but she is just remarkably unspectacular in Panic Parade. Similar to Chandelure in the sense that she's an attacker that doesn't deal much damage. She feels more like an all-arounder, minus the tankiness. She's not awful, Sylveon. It's just unremarkable. I should really call the B tier the unremarkable tier, because that's what they are. They're unremarkable. Talonflame. I put Talonflame into A-. Talonflame is alright. Didn't see many Talonflames. Yeah. He's just not the best. Really high damage, I will give them that. I will give them this. Talonflame's damage and mobility is super good. Super fucking good high damage. Super good damage. He was just... He's just a blah Pokemon. Maybe it's because of him being a speedster and just his lack of defenses. But I don't know. I feel like his damage is too bursty for it to be substantial enough to be top damage. Trevenant is another A+ defender. Very similar to Slowbro in the sense that he's a jack of all trades Pokemon. But he's very good at those trades. Really high damage with Woodhammer and Hornleech. Super hard to kill, probably one of the hardest Pokemon to kill in Panic Parade because of the constant healing from Hornleech. Really good mobility, really good utility with Hoodhammer. Good Unite move for damage. Trevenant is a really good Pokemon. No one fucking played him. Actually, that makes it fair. Did we see other Trevenants when we were testing Rhoda? I don't remember seeing other Trevenants. No. Yeah, not one. We saw other defend. Actually, did we even see a Snorlax? I don't remember seeing a Snorlax. That's a couple of Pokemon. Yeah, no, I didn't feel like we did. No one played a defender. Like, no one played defenders other than like Slowbro. Like Slowbro was like the only defender that we saw like consistently being picked. Like we saw, yeah, and Umbreon. Not gonna completely forgot about Umbreon. Yeah, there's Umbreon and Slowbro, but like the only defenders we really saw. That's so weird. Because other than Greedon, all the defenders are good. No one played them. So weird. Serena, B. Perks of being the worst Pokemon in the game, in my opinion. Serena is wholly unremarkable. Like, her damage is fine. Her mobility is fine. Her tankiness is fine. Her Unite move's useless. Her Unite move actually does nothing against bosses. So she's got a useless Unite move, which is no good. She's just such a bleh Pokemon. Also, didn't see any other Serenas other than me playing Serena. Tyranitar is also B. Tyranitar is just discount Garchomp. He's a late game all rounder that doesn't have the damage output that Garchomp has. Or the mobility that Garchomp had. Actually, no, T-Tar's faster than Garchomp. Because of Ancient Power. And it's Unite move. So that's it. It didn't help with that the game I played with T-Tar, I lost. Not because of T-Tar, it's because I had to solo carry as T-Tar. Because my team was dog shit. And it was literally the only reason, because I feel like if I had a competent team, T-Tar would be fine, but I had to hard carry with T-Tar. I'm not using that as a judgment to put him into B tier. But if I were any other but if I felt like if I were a different Pokemon, I would have been able to solo carry way easier than a Tyranitar. Umbreon is another A plus Pokemon. Umbreon is really good, like really good. She's not S tier. I wouldn't put her in S tier, but she was really good. Damage output was really good. Tankiness was really good. Really, well, yeah, really fun. I fucking loved playing Umbreon. Super fun Pokemon to play. He's just an all-around really solid Pokemon. Her Unite move is really good. Foul Play Snarl does a lot of damage for a defender. I'd say out of all the defenders, Umbreon is probably only behind Slowbro in terms of damage. Probably second most fun, even behind Leafeon, yeah. So Leafeon's insane for Panic Brew. Urshifu, actually both Urshifus I will put into S tier. Because they're both ridiculously strong. Dark Bear does monstrously high damage with Wicked Blow. Like insanely high damage. And Water Bear is basically the same, insanely high damage. I prefer playing the Water Bear. I'm just more used to playing Water Bear. But Dark Bear, Dark Bear does so much damage. So much damage. Really mobile too. Water Bear is more mobile, I'd say that. But Dark Bear is also quite mobile. And I prefer Water Bear's Unite move because you have to be constantly attacking to get the full benefit of it. So at the end, it does deal more damage than Dark Bear's Unite. But the bears were so fun, so strong. Venusaur, I'd put it to A plus. I put Venusaur into A plus. Venusaur's really strong, really mobile, really strong damage, super good wave clear with Solar Beam, tanky with Giga Drain, good CC with Sludge Bomb. Man, Venusaur is a strong Pokemon. He just takes too long to get online, in my opinion. Wiggly. I loved using Wigglytuff in Panic Parade because I found that the cheese was Wigglytuff. You can do a cheese method with Wigglytuff and Panic Parade with uh, Defense Curl. If you go to any lane and you use Defense Curl on a wall, you'll just be bouncing back and forth between lane. For that, it actually makes a good defensive wall, which was so funny. But that's basically it with Wigglytuff. She's kind of a troll pick. In saying that, though, she's a very fun troll pick. Zacian, another S tier Pokemon. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really think I need to explain Zacian at all. Like, insane early game, insane damage, insane mobility. Like, I'd say his only problem is you have to use his passive quite sparingly. But other than that, he's absolutely insane. Definitely the Pokemon we saw the most of, Zacian. Yeah, that's the only problem. The bad players. But we're assuming here that people know how the fuck to play the Pokemon. Let's just assume that they have some basic knowledge when they know what the fuck they're doing, which surprisingly rare. Zero Aura. Ugh. The people we had playing Zero Aura, for the most part, were dog shit. They're so bad with Zero Aura. Which does tend to be the case with Zero Aura players. They're dog shit. But if you have a Zero Aura who knows what the fuck they're doing, then Zero Aura is a pretty strong Pokemon. Like, super high damage. Everyone who plays these Pokemon is just terrible. I can attest to that. I play Zero Aura and I'm terrible. As a Zero Aura main, I can attest to that, yeah. In regular game, it's just kind of Cinderace sucks. Exactly, yeah. Those two are the griefing Pokemon. Cinderace and Zero Aura. Okay, anytime I see Cinderace or Zero Aura, I'm been like extremely the worst. Even for Panic Bird, we had some really shit Cinderaces. So take that as you will. You can't escape them. But Zero Aura is a strong Pokemon for Panic Bird. Discharge is really strong. But then really good mobility. Really strong Unite move. His buffs really helped him. I'd say if Zero Aura was not buffed, he'd be here. But he was buffed, so now he's up here. Finally, Zoroark is also A+. I'm so tempted to put Zoroark into S tier because I loved playing Zoroark. But I have to think of this rationally. Zoroark, really hard to play. So if you fuck up Zoroark, you're going to be You're going to be missing out on some damage. And Zoroark's Unite move is not very good. Never has been good and never will be good. Zoroark's passive is also useless. So you're going to be entirely relying on your basic attacks and your abilities for dealing damage with Zoroark, which Zoroark excels at. Zoroark is a very high damage dealer. So, yeah, that is the Pokemon Unite Panic Parade tier list. I don't want to order it. I don't. Should I order it? Yes.
Yes, yes, I am amazing. I know, my throat hurts actually from talking so much. I've been talking for an hour and 40 minutes, oh fuck. Did not like that.
Should I rank it? Like put every Pokemon in order? I've only done that for Decidueye. Decidueye's in order. And Sableye. You just want to give me more work, don't you? Fair enough. Okay. I say Mewtwo is second best. Thousand voice correct. Yeah, I'd say Mewtwo second. Mewtwo second best. Then I'd say Zacian, Dragonite, Water Bear above Dark Bear, Inteleon above Cinderace, Leafeon above Inteleon, Dragapult above Cinderace, Cinderace above Greninja, and Greninja above Alolan Ninetales. That's S tier. Ligar of Leafeon. Super close to being top 5 Pokemon, Leafeon. I don't think she's too frail. I just think she has the speedster frailty that hinders her. A plus. Ooh, A plus is going to be tricky to rank. God, okay, what the fuck do I put at the top of A plus? Chat, I need your help. No, I would not put Buzzwole at the top of A2. At the top of A plus. Not Buzzwole. I'd definitely say there are Pokemon better than Buzzwole. Uh, Slowbro's up there. It's not Umbreon. I say Espeon is up there. I'm not saying she's like the top. And I'll put her number one, but I'd put Duraludon probably at number one because he's an ADC. I think Garchomp's up there. Garchomp's up there. He has a kit to be a contender for S tier. But Espeon above Azu. There are definitely Pokemon better than Azumarill. I put Clefable at the bottom. I will also put Scizor second from the bottom. I'll put Cramorant below Espeon. That's me. I'll put Umbreon below Cram. And put Machamp below Umbreon. Zoroark below Machamp. Buzzwole below Zoroark. Eldegoss below Buzzwole. Trevenant below Eldegoss. Venusaur above Azu. Azu better than Zoroark, Zoroark better than Scizor, Scizor better than Clefable, Clefable's at the bottom of A+. Is that right? Duraludon at the top, then Slowbro. Because both Duraludon and Slowbro, you can make a case for being an S tier. Then Garchomp, Espeon, Cramorant, Umbreon, Machamp, Zoroark, Buzzwole, Eldegoss, Trevenant, Venusaur, Azumarill, Zoroark, Scizor, Clefable. Is that right? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? I'm crazy. Crazy. 8. Moving on to 8 here, I guess. This is tricky. Why the fuck do you make me rank this one? 8 tier. I'll, believe it or not, I'm putting Crystal at the top of 8 tier. I'm. Ooh, I don't want to put Crystal in 8 at the top of 8 tier. I'll put Mew second in 8 tier. I'll put Lucario third in 8 tier. Glaceon fourth. Then Delphox. Then Gardevoir. Then Goodra. Scyther. Snorlax. Lapras. Mamo Charizard. With all the sharp upgrades, I did 700k with Glaceon, but I've only played it twice, so take that as you will. I can't remember how much damage I did with Glaceon. That sounds about right. Like 700, 800k with the thing I did with Glaceon. Which does put her in the range of like the top of A tier, because I did 800k with Crystal, 800k with Mew, 800k with Lucario. I didn't do 800k with Clefable. I might put Clefable in A. I might have to move Clefable in A tier. Where did I put her in A tier though? Because she's not number. I don't think she's number 1 in A tier. Oh, Clefable, you're such a fucking weird Pokemon. You have good damage. You're tanky. And you have good heat. You just got no mobility. To be fair, Mew also doesn't have good mobility. But her damage output is going to be higher than Lucario's. Even though Lucario has more better mobility. Is Clefable better than Glaceon? No. Is Clefable better than Delphox? No. Is Clefable better than Gardevoir? No. Is Clefable better than Goodra? No. Clefable goes there. Go from A plus to smack dab in the middle of a. Guess I was overhyping Cliffhanger too much. Because healing is just isn't that useful for Panic Parade. And her damage output wasn't as good as the people above her. To be fair, some are hurt, but the damage output behind her also wasn't better, but I feel like she provided more utility than the others. I feel like Aegis Slash is too low. Is Aegis Slash better than Cycling? Yes. God, this is tricky. Why the fuck did you make me rank this? You ass. I think that is A tier. Moving on to A minus. I guess moving on to A minus. Chandelier is at the top of A minus. Then Pikachu. Hoopa's better than Gengar. And I think Talonflame is better than Gengar. Yeah, that's A minus. A minus is easy. B's gonna be tricky. Sylveon is at the top of B because she has the most use out of the Pokemon in B tier. Dodrio is behind Sylveon. Mr. Mime is third. Because he has actually niche and he's not actually out. He's not outclassed by anyone in that niche. Mr. Mime provides his role well. Whether or not that role is important or not is up to debate. Tyranitar below Absol. I put Absol there, yeah. Tyranitar's damage is really good in the late game. Serena below T-Tar. Then Blissey, then Greedent, and then Wiggly. And then C tier is Comfey. Sableye's the worst Pokemon. So, final review. Decidueye's the best Pokemon for Panic Parade. Without question, how much easy. And Sableye's the worst for Panic Parade. Yes. Yes, I'm okay with this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're done. That is the Pokemon Unite Panic Parade tier list. Decidueye at number 1. Sableye at the worst. Now to play Rise. I'm going to save this real quick. It does look good. 40 hours for nothing. 40 hours testing for a PvE game mode that won't even be back soon. And that is gonna change. That on release, which is already outdated because of Mewtwo's nerfs. The thing that I do for content. Okay, now to play fucking Monster Hunter Rise. Hell yeah. Woo! Monster Hunter Rise! Even after 2 hours of... Sadly, I must go now as I have things to do tomorrow that require sleep. It's a weird way to phrase. That's a weird way to phrase a masturbation moment. Alright. If you must go, you must go. I appreciate your support with the tier list, you little You didn't do that much, but you were here. You were here for moral support. You were here knowing that I wasn't talking to myself. I'm going to get a drink. I'm so thirsty. My throat is parched from talking for 2 hours. Oh, God, Bennett. Look at this yellow border on my screen. I've never seen that before. I don't know. I don't know what the big fucking dealio with this yellow border. Why aren't you losing weight? I haven't played fucking Rise in a hot minute. Atlas Magnamalo, Almudra Musicine, Dossarak Tetranodon, Diablo Zangina, Rajang Znover, Raknokadaki Kezu, oh god, Tobakadashi Nokakuga Tigrex, boy.
迷っておられます。
Boy, oh boy. This is gonna be
私も
fun.
よく食事の今度行ってらっしゃいませ。よいしょ。さて。
You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to change the fucking.
腕が鳴るわね。
OBS, so it's on. Game capture. Display. I explained the quality.
さてと。
It's okay though, I'll fix that for them up for the stream. I'm going. Ugh. Give me a minute. There's things. There we go. Hit the wood.
会いたかった。
And it's the head. Dingus. I realized my mistake. I shouldn't have did that good thing. Oh, I'm gonna be back.
やってくれんじゃない。
See you anyway, motherfucker. That's shit. 無理。
100倍にして返す。さてと。行くわよ。確実に仕留めてやる。言うこと聞きなさい。これでおしまい。
I cannot be further away from the head. There we go. Alright.
成功ね。
Went awfully.
よいしょ。
Nice. Okay, I have one life left to kill Rathalos. Ain't gonna happen. Super sleeping. You don't want to sleeping. How the hell did that not hit me? I knew that happened. Actually, fucking change it so I could go back. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Not everything. Try that again. Definitely gonna forget about the loadout. shit.
一歩前進。助かったわ。
Good kitty. 追いかけるわよ。 Well, I haven't died yet.
行
So
く
we're
わよ。
already doing better than last time.
砥石の出番ね。
I guess I'm going in the complete wrong direction.
「頼れるお供ね。」 きなさい。総流完了。よいしょ。到着。
This is so much damage.
シャシャッとね。
Never seen him do that. Damn you, Rathalos.
やってくれんじゃ
Why
ない。
did you hit me so?
まだこれからなのに。研ぎ澄ます。
Oh, God. I'm getting quite tired. I did not think the Unite to us would take me 2 hours, but it did.
絶対に倒す。
The world strat worked. It paid off, chat. The world strat paid off. Look at me go.
もらってくわよ。
I just killed your husband. What do you do about it, bitch? Yes, I know you're there. That bugger.
余裕。うん。
15 minutes. Let me out. No. Let me out, you dirty whore. I will eat you alive. You're not no wife.
特別なクエストご確認ください。
Keep up. Keep
どのクエストになさいますか？
Oh no. I do not want to do this quest. This quest is dread. I'm not good at this today. Oh god.
ご分を。
Good fucking lord. And the controller is connected with my win. Yeah, sure, why not? Oh, it's your motherfucker. Whatever. Yeah, that's what I did. That's okay.
しょ。よっ。
Oh my god, I just remembered what I have to do. I have to farm. I'm not doing it this Stranger's Cross, but
期限万丈。
eventually I'll have to farm. Maybe
何かしてくる。
Dominic. Oh, so close.
追いかけるわよ。よろしく。確実に仕留めてやる。
Oh shit. Football tables here. Wow. Ready for layers. Oh,
さあ、操るわよ。総流完了。総流行くわよ。はっ。
wait, did you see it? Oh, there she is. How you doing?
決まったわ。素材いただき。
いい子ね。
到着。
Ah, ready another one? There. Almost with that.
やってくれんじゃない。さてと。
Son of a bitch. Yeah, I didn't watch this. Hey, better run some incomes. And if he spawned here, I'd start right there.
Oh, you getting stunned a lot. Sure, that hit me. Fuck you. What's the rarity on that? From a carve. 2. 3%.
よしよし。順調順調。
I could do it. No way. What the hell? Okay then. Yeah, I'm gonna stop streaming now. Giving away, getting tired. The two of us took a lot out of me. I wish I played my mouse on it, but I can just tomorrow, if I so desire. So, thank you to everyone who joined in. I appreciate you. I hope you have a good day. And farewell.